It's 11:15 at night, and you told yourself you'd be asleep by 10:30. Your body is tired, but your mind isn't. So you pick up your phone. Just for a second. 20 minutes later, you're watching a stranger reorganize a refrigerator. You knew better. You knew exactly where this was headed, and yet, there you are. Maybe your version isn't your phone. Maybe it's another episode. Maybe it's the handful of chips you weren't hungry for. Maybe it's saying, I'll start tomorrow. Or saying nothing at all because you don't want to make the conversation uncomfortable. Different situations, yes. Same feeling. I want to, and I know I shouldn't. We've all been there, and most of us explain it the same way. I need more discipline. I need more willpower. I just have to try harder. But I don't think that's the real problem. In fact, I want to suggest something that may sound strange at first. What if your temptation is actually trying to help you? Maybe not wisely, maybe not successfully, but genuinely trying to help. Because once you understand what your temptation is trying to do, it begins to lose much of its power. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Broom. Welcome to a Things to Think About video. I've spent nearly 50 years helping people understand why good people so often do things they later wish they hadn't. And that includes me. I've lost this battle more times than I'd like to admit, so this is not a lecture. It's something I had to learn myself. But before we go any further, I'd like to do something. Think about the last temptation you gave in to. Not the biggest one, just the last one. What was it? Now here's the question I want you to carry through this entire video. What was that temptation trying to do for you? Not, what did it make me do? What was it trying to accomplish? Because I don't think temptation is random. I think temptation always has a purpose. Behavior may be unhelpful. The purpose usually isn't. But here's what finally changed the way I think about temptation. Every temptation is trying to meet a real need. The need is usually legitimate. The strategy often isn't. That's why fighting the temptation rarely works for very long. You're fighting the behavior while ignoring the need that gave birth to it. Imagine you're really thirsty. You can tell yourself not to think about water. You can lecture yourself. You can shame yourself. None of that changes the fact that you're thirsty. The answer isn't to stop needing water. It's to drink it. Temptation works much the same way. Underneath almost every temptation is something that matters. A need for some connection, a need for rest, a need for relief, a need to feel safe, a need to avoid embarrassment, a need to escape uncertainty. Those are all human needs. The problem isn't having them. The problem is that temptation offers the quickest solution, not the best one. I found that most temptations fall into two broad groups. Sometimes they're trying to protect a relationship. Other times they're trying to make something inside of us feel better. Let's start with the first. When temptation tries to protect a relationship. This one is easy to miss. Most people don't even think of it as temptation. You're talking about someone you care about, a spouse, a friend, someone at work. They say something that doesn't sit right. You feel it immediately. A tightening in your chest, a little hesitation. Something inside of you wants to respond. Then another voice quietly speaks up. Don't make this awkward. Just let it go. Let's keep the peace. Notice what that temptation is trying to do. It isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect the relationship. And honestly, That's a beautiful intention. Human beings are built for connection. We need to belong. We need relationships that matter. The temptation isn't wrong because it values their relationship. It's wrong because it assumes the only way to protect the relationship is to lose yourself. I know that move too well. Early in my career, I sat at a meeting with someone much more senior than I was. He said something I completely disagreed with. I smiled, I nodded, and I said nothing. At the time, I told myself I was being respectful, being polite, keeping the peace. Years later, I realized something. I wasn't protecting the relationship. I was slowly withdrawing from it. Not on the outside, but certainly on the inside. Each time I ignored what mattered to me, a little resentment took place. Not all at once, just a little, then a little more, until eventually I didn't feel as connected as I once had. Here's what surprised me. The thing I was trying to preserve, I was slowly weakening. Because real relationships aren't built on pretending. They're built on knowing one another. That means they require truth, kind truth, respectful truth, sometimes very small truth. I ask myself one question now. Am I protecting this relationship or hiding myself? If the answer is yes, I try something different. I tell one small truth. Not a speech, not a confrontation, just one small, honest sentence. I see it differently. I'm not comfortable with that. I need a little time to think before I answer. Warmth matters because warmth says, I'm still with you. The truth says, and I'm still here as well. Those two together build stronger relationships than silence ever will. Now you might be thinking, that makes sense for relationships, but what does that have to do with scrolling my phone or putting things off? More than you might think. Because the next kind of temptation isn't trying to protect the relationship. It's trying to protect you. So here's the second, when temptation tries to make you feel better. This is the temptation most people think of. It's late. The house is quiet. You know you should go to bed. Instead, you pick up your phone. Or you turn on one more episode. Or you wander into the kitchen looking for something to eat even though you're not really hungry. Notice what those temptations promise. Not happiness, not meaning, not a better life, just a little relief. A few quieter moments. A chance to stop feeling whatever you're feeling. And for a little while, they work. Then tomorrow comes. You're more tired. You're less patient. You're a little disappointed in yourself. And the relief was real. The cost simply arrived later. But here's where it gets really interesting. The same thing is happening when you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Think about that for a moment. What does tomorrow promise? Not more time. Not really. Tomorrow promises that beginning will somehow never feel easier. It promises you'll feel more motivated, more confident, more ready. So you wait. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes someday. Different behavior, same purpose. You're trying to escape discomfort. Not the discomfort of being tired. It's the discomfort of beginning, the discomfort of uncertainty, the discomfort of potentially failing, the discomfort of having a difficult conversation, of opening a blank page. That's why I no longer think of scrolling and procrastination as different problems. They're often the same solution, different disguises, same purpose. They're both trying to make you feel better now. That changes the question completely. Instead of asking, how do I stop wanting this? Ask yourself, what need is this temptation trying to meet? Sometimes the answer is, I'm exhausted. then sleep may be the wise response. Sometimes it's, I'm overloaded. Then maybe you should take a short walk, a few slow breaths, a conversation with someone you trust. Sometimes it's, I'm lonely. Scrolling isn't really what you wanted. Connection was. And sometimes the answer is, I don't want to begin. Now you're looking at something different. Not a need for rest, but a need for courage, because beginning almost always feels harder than continuing. So don't ask yourself to finish. Just ask yourself to begin. Just one sentence, one phone call, one email, just 5 minutes. That's all. I've discovered something over the years. The hardest part of almost every worthwhile thing I've ever done wasn't doing it, it was getting it started. Cross that threshold, and something changes. Not because the work becomes easy, because you've stopped arguing with yourself about whether to start or not. Do you see the pattern? Temptation is really trying to ruin your life. It's really trying to help. It's clumsy. It's impatient. It's often foolish. But it's trying to solve a real problem. The mistake isn't having the need. The mistake is assuming the temptation is the best way to meet it. If you need connection, don't disappear. Speak up. If you need rest, rest. If you need comfort, care for yourself in ways that actually restore you. If you need courage, take one small step. Meet the need. Don't simply obey the temptation. I'd like you to try something for the next week. Once each day, when you notice a temptation, don't fight it. Don't judge yourself. Get curious. Ask yourself one question. What is this temptation trying to do for me? Not, what is it trying to make me do? What is it trying to do for me? Is it trying to help me feel connected, safer, less overwhelmed, less lonely, maybe less uncertain? Then ask a second question. Is there a better way to meet that need? Sometimes there will be. Sometimes there won't. But simply asking those two questions changes everything, because you move from reacting to choosing. You don't need more shame. You may not need more discipline. You may simply need a better understanding of yourself. Temptation always begins with a real human need. The need isn't the enemy. The temptation isn't the enemy either. It's simply an imperfect attempt to meet the need. And once you understand the need, you don't have to stay trapped between wanting and resisting. You can choose a better response. And that's when temptation begins to lose its power. So the next time you hear yourself say, I want to, but I know I shouldn't, don't stop there. Ask one more question. What is this temptation trying to do for me? You may be surprised by the answer. And once you see the need clearly, you'll often discover a much better way to meet it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.